Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing? My name is Amanda Ellis. A warm welcome to my channel. And today's date is the 16th of February. We are a day before a lot of very important energies kick off in our world. And they are going to be rippling out for a number of weeks. It really is just that tomorrow is the starting gun of it all. So I don't think I've ever come so late to a particular subject, but it's very much linked into the fact that I don't think any of us are as well prepared as we think we are for the changes that are about to come in. So the three events that are on the horizon and that we can see now and can feel now are the new moon in Aquarius, the solar eclipse, which starts one of two eclipses. We're in an eclipse window. We have the solar eclipse tomorrow on the 17th of February. We then have a lunar eclipse on the 3rd of March. So these energies are going to run all the way through to the beginning of March and beyond. And we have also got the arrival of the year of the fire horse. So there's a lot to be getting through. I've been sitting with the information, the downloads that have been coming in from Spirit for a few days, wondering which angle to take on it, to be perfectly honest. So for whatever reason, let's just see what wants to come through as a priority today. I will say that I am going to be referencing the year of the fire horse, but I will be coming back to that in a probably more specific video because we have a new aura spray that is devoted to the fire horse, but it's not quite ready. It's still in the stables, but it will be here within the next week or so, hopefully. And I wanted to just sort of honour that arrival of something that we've created to support your journey through the coming year with a specific video. But we will reference Fire Horse because there's no getting away from the fact that its energy is pretty much already here. I'm going to start off, I think, with a couple of dreams, including one that I had last night. Now, I think I've mentioned to you before that my dream state has changed over the last, well, since the start of this year, but particularly over the last, well, we're not that far into the year, are we? I was going to say the last month, but particularly the last few weeks, dreams have been becoming, it feels more visionary in nature, more prophetic in nature, and just with deeper symbolism and meaning. So I'm really tracking them now. So the one, and all of these dreams are very much linked into the subject of the video if I mention them, okay? I feel as though it's one of the ways that Spirit is talking to me. So last night's dream was about being in a lift, an elevator. Okay, we've probably all had those type of dreams before, but the symbolism behind this one was, I thought, really apt. So I'm in a lift, as we call them here in the UK, elevator, maybe in different parts of the world, and a number of people get in with me. For whatever reason, I'm the one that presses the button in terms of which floor to go to. What's interesting is we're all on a floor where we're basically wanting to go lower. We're wanting to go back to ground level, effectively. Okay, so on the first or second floor, wanting to go to ground level. I get the feeling that then it's about wanting to just, leave the office for a day. I felt like it was in a corporate setting, go back home, cook dinner, go to bed, start the whole procedure all over again. And what's interesting is that as I press the button to go down, I realise that it isn't necessarily about going down, it's about the past. It's as though there's a blockage to going back into what we already know. And surprisingly, the lift, with my instruction of pressing the button, goes up, not down. And we've all been in lifts, haven't we? And sometimes you press the button, it goes up one level and you think, oh, no big deal. Then we can press the button again and it will go back to where we want to be. But what kept happening was that the doors kept opening at particular levels going up. I'm not even sure they all opened actually, but it kept going up. And then there started to be a realization within the elevator and the lift of all the people that were with me that it wasn't stopping. And some of the people around me were starting to panic and were sitting on some sort of handrails, guardrails that were there. There was a guy next to me who was sweating profusely. He was really concerned because he was panicking. He didn't know where we were going. And me, being somebody who's suffered from anxiety myself in the past, I was looking at him with compassion, but not actually feeling the anxiety myself, just saying it's going to be okay. I woke up when I realised that the lift was going somewhere we had never been to before, and actually with a sense of anticipation, stroke excitement of where that could be. I think the others in the lift were catching up with me, but that was the dream. And I realised that it was a perfect analogy for where we are. There is no going back to the past. We are in a new cycle, a new chapter, a new book, a whole new energy. And none of us quite know where we're going. But if we can get into a sense of anticipation of the changes to come, it's going to be much easier rather than gripping onto the handrails for dear life with sweat pouring from our body in a state of anxiety. So the first thing to do is to relax the body. What was interesting after I woke up, I realised that I was in a very different mindset to how I normally wake up, which, like probably all of us, we can be on automatic pilot, particularly first thing in the morning, particularly if you're not a morning person like I'm not. And often I know it's a terrible habit, but I'll reach for my phone, I'll see what's happened in the news overnight, the worst possible start to the day, to be honest. Then I sort of open the blinds, get into the shower. It's all quite sensory overload, really, for somebody that's quite sensitive and empathic. Well, this morning it was really different. I woke up and I thought, you're not switching the phone on. You don't need to know what's happened overnight. And indeed, you probably know it's going to be the same old faces that you've seen before in previous days. You don't need to start your day looking at the ugly mug of bloody Jeffrey Epstein again. So I thought, I'm not switching the phone on. I'll catch up later with what's happened overnight. And then there was an energy of, I don't want to open the blinds yet. I want to get up, but I need to, everything just needs to be softer, okay? So the sunlight, which is actually here today, can come in, but can come in a more gradual way. I also wanted to get in the shower without putting the lights on, and I know that this is something linked into the nervous system. Many people are starting to have showers before they go to bed in the dark, and it's a way to just calm the nervous system down, get the system ready for, sleep. But this was in reverse. This was first thing in the morning. It just felt a more sort of gentle nudge to the body to wake up. It's the start of a new day, rather than a clanging alarm, leaping out of bed, let's get on with it. And I feel this is how we need to approach this new collective shift that is in town, because it's going to be a wild ride. It's fiery, it's fast, it's dynamic, there's no stopping it. And if we match the pace of it, dependent upon where we are with our own bodies, we could get easily fried, burnt out, running on adrenaline, and it's not going to help us. The best way to meet the eclipse energies, the solar flare energies that are also coming in, the year of the fire horse energy, the new moon in Aquarius energy, Saturn in Aries energy, is to meet it in a place of alignment. And I think that's what my new routine was trying to teach me this morning, which is that you need a new alignment. Very interestingly, I then was putting on my makeup, and sometimes I'll listen to a YouTube video, and one came on from Dr Mindy, I can't remember her second name, Dr Mindy Pelz. And it's one she did 3 days ago, and it says, "We were wrong, 5 health rules I'm relearning." Number one, credit to her for having the balls to come on and say, do you know what? I've been doing something a certain way for decades, but now I want to rewind, is the word she used. I want to rewind some of the skills, some of the tools that I have given you to be doing, because for whatever reason, they don't feel in alignment anymore. She didn't use the word alignment, but I realized it was completely in sync with what I had been feeling. And that word rewinding really, really spoke to me over and above what she was talking about in terms of, diet or, exercise. It was more to do with, we need to be rewinding our system so that we are more readily able to utilize the opportunities that are going to be presenting themselves to us this year. Just checking I was recording. Yes, I am. So that was the first dream and the first synchronicity. The other dream I had a few days before, and again, this is all linked into these changes. So I'm in a house. And it's the energy of a house move. I'm in a house. And remember, in dreams, houses represent ourselves. When you see different rooms of a house, it is to do with different aspects of your psyche or different parts of your life. One room represents family, one room represents work, one room represents health, one room represents love, blah, blah, blah. So houses often represent us and our life. So the first house I saw was ready for a new person to move into it. And the person that had vacated it had left it in a really beautiful state. It was sparkling, shiny, cleansed, new, ready for the new person to move in. And there was love also in this house because it had been prepared for the next person. It felt as though, and there was no clutter also, there was no clutter. It had been emptied of all the clutter. And it felt as though that house represented the parts of us, and hopefully us anyway, that have done a lot of inner work, that have looked at our shadows, that have addressed what the year of the wood snake was all about, which was you're damn well going to look at your stuff and shed some skins for the new arrival, which is here now. And, the whole energy of this was, I'm ready, cleansed, done the work, not finished, of course, because spiritual work never finishes, but in a good state of preparedness. The next house that I saw was very different. And this one was full of clutter. It was dirty. It was unclean. And I went to the owner of this house and I said, why have you not cleaned it? Why have you not got rid of all the clutter? Why is there piles of books there and, all of your stuff? And in every single room that I was walking around, there was still stuff to clear, but it was dirty. And it was more the fact that this was for somebody else to move into. It was as though that person was going to be inheriting all of the stuff that owner had not been bothered to clear up. And I said to the owner, why? Why have you not cleared your house? And the answer was, I couldn't be bothered. And at that moment, I have this is all dream state, I have this energy of holy anger that comes over me. And I go into one of the rooms and I just pick up piles of stuff and I'm throwing it into the garden, to just try to help clear it for the person that's about to come in. And I realised a few things. Number one, it was a bit of holy rage at where some of the collective are right now that haven't been even trying to do any inner work, and because of that, all of their projections and wounds are there for all of us to see, all of us to feel, and yes, it's thrown at us. So that was interesting. The other thing about walking around this Unkempt House was that some parts of it were quite beautiful. I remember in particular there was some really beautiful crystals, very big, huge crystals. I think it could have been lapis, actually. It was dark blue. But the point about it, and there were also this library of books. And when I was telling my daughter about this dream, she said, yeah, they're books that were unread. I thought that was spot on. But it's also to do with the fact that a wounded person that hasn't cleared their stuff, and this might be family members that you're living with, it could be friends, it could be your neighbours, it could be people you're working with, it could just be them out there, whoever they are, them not doing it affects all of us. Okay, because we are all one. But the jewels and the crystals seem to represent the fact that there's still nice things in a comfort zone that has become dysfunctional. You know, you can still live in a load of mess. So I really feel these dreams are important because they're just almost, what Metatron's saying is they're giving signposts to where the collective are, but also maybe you can gauge where you are with regards to both of them. Are you in the cleansed home? You know, trying your best to keep your house in order, your house being yourself, yes, doing the inner work. Or is everything just out of control and chaotic? Well, it's never too late to change is the first thing to say. And then with regards to the lift, elevator, are you the one that's just in complete panic that everything's going off the rails and you're fearful of the future? Or are you, as I was displaying in the dream state, a little bit nervous, but actually more than anything, quite excited to see where it's going. And looking back on an old pattern that I could see in other people, whereby, no, I don't need to grip onto the guardrails. I'm standing here in my own sovereign light and I'm strong enough to deal with wherever this lift basically ends up. And when the doors open and the new reality is there and the new energy has arrived, I'll deal with it. And more than I'll deal with it, hopefully I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah. So both of those dreams, as I say, feel really interesting. I'd like to just say something about the Unkempt House, though, because how do we deal with other people's unprocessed stuff? I think I had an example of it this morning, and I think the guidance is it's not about telling people what to do. It's just about maybe it is about trying to model the behaviour you want to see in others, as well as maybe gentle nudges and reminders. The last video I'd put up, there was something I said in it with regards to when the tower effectively has fallen down and, old Earth and the structures of old Earth and the corruption and the darkness has been exposed, which is what's happening with the Epstein files, for example. Once that's sort of burnt to the ground because it's meant to all fall away, we then need to have checks and balances in place so that it can never happen again, that type of thing. Somebody had misinterpreted that and said, you don't need checks and balances, we just need to raise it all to the ground, we need to poison them, we need to unalive them. It was that sort of vindictive, hateful energy. And I thought, what do we do with that? Because that's obviously somebody that's watching my work, is probably trying, hopefully, to, be the best that they can be. So what I did was I just gently reminded that if you hold that energy, you become like them, okay? You become like them. And what's so interesting about the elevator dream is we can't go back to that. Okay, we have to be, what Metatron is saying is the way showers that lead others in a way and demonstrate in a way that there is a different approach. There is a higher way to deal with these problems in our world. I will also say that the arrival of the fire horse energy, it's interesting. As I say, I'll talk in another video about the attributes of fire horse, but you've probably heard them, in many other places. But one of the things I'm hearing is that this fire horse is there to, how was it actually put? get us out of trouble, but not in terms of just scooping us up and we're not having to do the work and it riding us off into the sunset. It's more that we're on a battlefield at the moment in the collective, and maybe in your individual lives as well. You're on a battlefield. You can't see the way out of it. You have done your best to tackle your own demons, transmute other energies in our world that are difficult. But the horse seems to come in as this helper more than anything. It really comes in as a helper. Mestron's saying the horse is also coming in as an activator energy. Let me write that down so I don't forget it. It's an activator energy. What does he mean by that? He's taking me back to what I've mentioned before about this fire horse energy, the energy of the horse as a therapy animal, linked. It can help all of us, of course, but particularly those who maybe can't express emotions or just find life difficult. And that can be anybody, but also it's linked into people with autism, for example, or ADHD, anxiety, the people in the lift that I saw, So it's an activator energy that is both supporter, helper, getter out of a trouble energy, but it also activates something in us, Yes, our passion, yes, our drive, yes, our motivation. But I'm feeling today, as I'm sitting with this, there's a lot out there which is talking, and I will say this as well, in terms of activation and motivation, what's your goal, what progress you're making, yes, all of that. But I'm feeling that this activator energy today is more about higher ideals and us really trying to embody them. Being human and falling off the horse, and getting back on it. But so much of the work that I did a year or two ago with regards to the Knight's Code and the King Arthur energy and Camelot, I will be revisiting that very soon. But really, the essence of that was about a code of honour. And what we have right now in the collective, what we're being shown by the whole Epstein awfulness, is the complete antithesis of a code of honour, a code of ethics that, we would be proud to sign our name to and aspire to. So all of that is coming back. And of course, what does a knight ride on? A knight rides on a horse, does he not? So, but again, I will talk more about the Knight's Code and the King Arthur energy very, very soon. Literally within the next week or so, I'm hoping to do that video. Okay, right, so I've made some notes here then with regards to these three events: Fire Horse, New Moon in Aquarius, Solar Eclipse, 17th of February. Before I even get into all of that, again, can we just be very careful with regards to what we're manifesting in our mind in terms of what we're hoping for? But also, I'm seeing a lot of rubbing of hands in glee in terms of what could happen, wishing death on people. I'm sure you're not doing that, but there is that out there in the collective, is tomorrow the day that whatever happens? Remember that anything that we're thinking and that we're helping to manifest, we have a part in. So there's also a degree of accountability with regards to what you've sown. By your deeds are you known at the end of the day. So make sure that your thoughts and your deeds leading into this 17th of February period, and also the period between the 17th of February and the 3rd of March, this eclipse corridor is really healthy and wholesome and for the highest good of all, okay? I can't stress that enough, because imagine now the lift doors have opened, yeah? You are inheriting to a degree the landscape that you have planted already. That doesn't mean that you can't plant new thoughts and deeds and actions, but we do reap what we sow at the end of the day. So there is a reckoning coming in our world for many. But that is also reflected at micro level as well for all of us. Now, hopefully the reckoning is a nice one, that you've sown seeds of peace, seeds of harmony, seeds of love. I feel as though there is a big wave of appreciation and gratitude coming for many of us with regards to what we have tried to do. You know, sometimes you can feel as though it's not seen, you know, what you're doing day to day. It is seen. Spirit sees all. And I feel as though, yeah, these elevator doors opening, the lift doors opening, be aware that the landscape is what you have created, but you can also create, you know, we're creating in every moment. Okay, I'm going to go through one by one then. I'm going to start off with the solar eclipse, I think. Now, what I'm going to say about the solar eclipse, I don't think I've heard anybody else say. Okay, so this is my little take on it. Or it's not really my take, it's what I've been given to Spirit to talk about. I think this could be something I say that a few people will nod their heads and say, oh, yeah, that sounds accurate. A lot of other people think, oh, she's off a blinking rocker. And then maybe in 5 years' time or less, you might come back to this video and think, do you know what? She was spot on. I'm not saying that from an egotistical perspective. It's really just that often Metatron will show you something which isn't quite yet here. And in fact, it's almost like the polar opposite of what's here right now, which is why you're laughed at and mocked. But he's showing us the seeds. So what intrigues me about this solar eclipse is that it's mostly visible in remote areas, okay? I mean, you may be able to see it if you're in, from my notes here, the southern tip of South America, where there might be a partial eclipse, and also the southern tip of South Africa. Also, if you're in the South Indian Ocean, you might see it, but it's also most visible from Antarctica. Now, again, I know there's a lot of stuff out there on Antarctica. I will probably read on that separately another day. That's not what I want to talk about in terms of what's under the ice, all that stuff. No. What I'm being shown by Metatron is the Arctic and the Antarctic. Now, I like to learn new things. I don't know about you. You know, I've never been to Antarctica, and I have actually been to part of the Arctic, because part of the Arctic includes Canada, although I haven't been to the part that's in the Arctic. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is we have the Arctic at the top, which includes various different countries who, of course, all have sovereignty. Canada, part of Canada anyway, is in the Arctic. Part of Russia is in the Arctic. Siberia, for example. Part of Norway is in the Arctic. Lapland, which is Finland, is in the Arctic. Part of Sweden is in the Arctic. Greenland is in the Arctic. We'll come back to Greenland in a minute because we haven't heard the last of that whole story. Iceland is also part of the Arctic. But the whole point of it is that all of those places mentioned have a definite sovereignty to them in terms of, you know, this country owns, you know, Russia owns Siberia, Finland owns Lapland, is it Yukon? Is owned by Canada. Alaska is owned by USA. You know, it's like there's a flag that's attributed to these parts of the world. Go to the bottom of the globe, where the eclipse is actually going to be visible. There's a very different energy in town. Number one, it's bloody huge. I had no idea the Antarctic was so huge. It stretches, if you put the map flat down, it stretches from it straddles 3 continents basically: South America, Africa, and Australia. Yeah. So, and obviously the Southern Ocean. So, yeah, it's stretching all that way from South America, Africa to Australia. So it's huge. But the thing that's interesting about the Antarctic, let me get my notes, guys, is that no one country owns it. Now, there are parts of it where there have been territorial claims by a number of countries, including the UK, Argentina, Chile, France, Norway, Australia, New Zealand, for example, the USA as well, probably others. But anyway, the point is that it says here, Antarctica is unique in that it is not owned by any one nation. Instead, it's managed through the Antarctic Treaty System, which was signed in 1959 by 12 countries. It's governed internationally. I just think can you feel the difference between this top half of the world, which represents all of us really, where it's like, that's my bit of land and we're called whatever, and then this other bit of land where the solar eclipse is coming, which is international in nature. Metatron's showing me that there's something over time that is going to be rippling out with regards to governance. It's almost as though there is a template there underneath the ice. But there's also a template with regards to how we are trying to, I don't want to use the word control or govern really, manage it, which could ripple out into other places over generations is what he's saying. He's saying it's not 50 years, it's generations, because we really hang on to our identity, that I'm British, that I'm American, that I'm Chinese, that I'm Indian. But ultimately, New Earth going forward at some point is going to be, I'm part of the human race. We're way, way off that at the moment, way off that, because we're so bound by geography and borders and nationality. But there's something about the Antarctic region being, I want to use the word managed a different way, which again, over time, when the old dinosaurs in our world have all gone, I'm talking about people, with the old 3D thinking, there's something new that's going to come in there. So it'd be really interesting to watch that. Okay. Let's pull a card then for the solar eclipse. And I'll go to the Queen of the Sun Oracle by, who is it by? Stacey DeMarco. And let's see what we get. You see, the thing is, with solar eclipses, for example, which is what we're talking about right now, they sow seeds. And we're so linear in our thinking with regards to time. And we all are. I am too, which is like, it's happening tomorrow on the 17th. What's going to be the effect of it, And yes, we probably will see events play out and energies play out, and they're going to be visible. And we're in that corridor between tomorrow and the 3rd of March and beyond. But really the seeds, it's like the dandelion seed head. It's like they blow and they ripple across multiple timelines, across so many different dimensional energies, that the solar eclipse over the Antarctica can seed something that will come into fruition, whether it's in 500 years' time or 50. And it's definitely to do with the way that we govern our world. And what Metatron is saying is that part of this collective governance is what he's saying. I know it's not one world order or new world order or anything like that. It's collective governance. It's going to come about through necessity, he's saying. And it feels as though it's linked into earth changes, okay? And I've said this many times before, which is that, when your house is on fire, you accept the help of any neighbour with a bucket of water, yeah? It's that type of thing. And there is a humbling of humanity's ego, basically, still to come. And I've always felt that Mother Earth is the one to dish out the medicine on that. As I've said before, she will try to do so as gently as possible. But it's really up to us what her response will be, whether we need a hard shaking awake or whether it's going to be gentler, yeah? Anyway, let's pull some cards. So let's bring it back to tomorrow, 17th of February, and this corridor with the 3rd of March as well. But solar eclipse energy, what's coming in, please? What can we immediately see, please? I definitely feel as though there's going to be more solar flares as well. What we immediately see, really nice cards actually, is action and purpose. The gateway is wide open. Those elevator doors have opened. And whether you like it or not, you can't just stay sitting in the lift, you know, grabbing the handrails. You will need to move and take action. It's a bit like, you know, I've got a cat, and although dogs can be a bit like it, but cats do it a lot, which is, you know, they'll sniff everything out, won't they? So I'm just seeing like this cat or this dog that's just, which is us, represents us, which is just like sniffing out the new air, the new energy. Is it safe to tread there? The sun, it's a beautiful card actually. Can you see that card? I hope you can. It's got both the sun and the moon in it. So it's a nod also to the new moon in Aquarius, but also the sun. And the steps, there are steps. One thing I would also say about this card is that in the door frame, there are a number of really beautiful blossoms of flowers that probably are very fragrant. They look like they're in full bloom. And it's almost like an energy of, oh, I don't really want to leave there. That looks really nice and comfortable. The path ahead, although there is vegetation, no, there isn't actually. It's rocky. It's just rocky. There's a pathway with steps, but it's rocky. Either side of it is rocky. The only thing that you have to guide you is the light. And that light isn't separate from you. It is within you. So you have to be guided by your own light, your own higher consciousness, your own higher self, and your guides as well. But you follow the light. You follow the light. And it reminds me very much of... you know, I often use the analogy of Lord of the Rings, but I'm being reminded of that passage in Lord of the Rings where they go off the path. I spoke about that in a previous video. They go off the path. They're told that as long as you stay on the path, you'll be okay. And for whatever reason, curiosity killed the cat, you know, they go off the path. And then they find themselves in that great big spider's web and they have to be rescued. So keep to the path. Keep to the path. You see, the other thing with the card of action, we've got a lady in a ball dress for some reason, rock climbing. But anyway, I mean, why not? But there's something again, not that I ever have rock climbed, but, you know, I would imagine it's one grip at a time, isn't it? It's one foothold at a time. You don't just, unless you're a mountain goat, scale up there within 3 seconds. You have to follow the line of the rope. You have to follow where the footholds are. So I think there's a message here with regards to the path will be shown. The path will be shown. Let me write that down. That might be the title of this video. The path will be shown. So the path is going to be shown collectively, but it's also going to be shown individually. Let's just think about why would we not stay on the path? And what is the path? Ultimately, the path is our destiny. It's our highest timeline. It is the path of the greatest reward, the greatest opportunity, the most fun, the most worthwhile, the most fruitful. Why would we not go on that? Because we get distracted. So be aware of distractions. Beware of those that are trying to pull you off the path. What is truly important and what is not? Only you can answer that. I definitely have learnt that in my own life over the last 20 years, particularly with regards to business. I don't judge any of the slight deviations off the path. They all taught me something. But what I'm really trying to say is that I'm feeling much more focused now on this is what I'm here to do. This is what I'm here to teach. This is what I'm meant to be focusing on. And yeah, you could do this, you could do that, you could go there, you could do this. But actually, it's actually a bit of a distraction really from what you're really meant to be doing. So that be aware of that really. Be aware of that. Anything else to say with those two cards? The fact that she's rock climbing in a ball gown. I feel that means something. There's an ethereal quality to it as well. There's a goddess stroke ethereal quality to it, as symbolised by the dress, which is Metatron saying, as well as follow the light and follow the path, it's about keep it light, keep it fun, keep it fun, keep it light, keep it playful. Okay. Something here with regards to, take it away from rock climbing, of course, but, the whole health and safety thing, there she is. She hasn't got her hair tied up. I'm sure if you went rock climbing, you do need to have your hair tied up. But there's something here with regards to hell with it. Just do it, do it your way. Type energy. As I say, taking it away from rock climbing, it's something to do with respect the rules and regulations and boundaries that are there to keep you safe. But when they don't work and when they're based on old 3D, old earth energy, they're not necessarily serving you, are they? Because any rules and restrictions, the rules and restrictions in New Earth, in this new chapter, people could say, we don't need any because, no, we're still going to need some because human nature is still human nature. But they're going to be different. Anyway, let me now get to the next thing I wanted to talk about. So we've pulled some cards for the solar eclipse. How are we doing for time? 42 minutes, okay. New moon in Aquarius. I'm going to pull some cards from the Syrian Starseed Tarot. I did have one on my desk already pulled. I just wanted to give a shout out to Krishna, as you do, because this card came up in my last video. And again, it's a card of action, moving forward. I talked about the fact that we've got 5 horses there that look a bit zebra-like, but actually they're not zebras. They've just got loads of harnesses on. They're all white horses. The chariot is there. It's being driven by this Hindu deity. I guessed it was Krishna, and it is Krishna. Now, thank you also to a few of you that mentioned that to me. I wanted to read you the message that goes with this card because it's very, very powerful. So let's just do that. Sorry, I know the light is not great in this video. I'm probably half in light, half in shade. But I tell you what, the UK, we've had, I think it's 40 days of rain. When the sun comes, it's bigger than any bloody solar eclipse or any start of the year of the fire horse. It's like, my God, the sun is in the sky. It's really, really great. So I'm not closing it. Right, this is what it says then about the chariot. Right. So I'm pulling this with regards, it's all of they're all intermingled. It's very hard to separate eclipse, new moon and fire horse. They're all arriving together. Okay, but basically the guidance is the chariot, movement. One of the more difficult keys to interpret is the chariot. Who is the charioteer and what is he racing towards? As starseed journeys along the path of earthly existence, he realises that there will be challenges to face and that these may require independent action. Independence is one of the qualities of the fire horse, by the way. Many are we who have come into body at this time as true spiritual warriors, and the road can be treacherous. Darkness and light pull at the reins of our being as we race ahead, learning that it is our focused mind and intention that harnesses the forces driving us forward. So the reins that we have on this very fast forward energy that is arriving for everybody right now is our focused mind and our intention. I love that because it goes back to what I told you about at the start of this video in terms of I had a focused intention and mind this morning, which was I'm going to be waking up in a different way. I'm going to be doing this in a different way. I need to respond to this in a different way. Overstimulation is not going to help me. I need to, just meet these energies differently. So it says, Lord Krishna holds the reins, representing the proper use of the focused mind to train and master the senses. How many times have I been talking about this wave from the east? And again, I mentioned this in my last video. The wave from the east feels as though this is all of the ancient Eastern philosophies and practices that we in the West have tried to embody and do embody, but there's going to be more of a renaissance of it. More depth, more nuance, more practice. And by this I'm talking about, for example, meditation, the teachings of the yogis as well. Because as well as Krishna stepping forward, and I've really felt his presence for a few days in preparation for this video, I also have the energy of the Sikh faith as well. And those of you that have got my Christ Consciousness deck, you'll know that there is a card in that which depicts the Langar, which is fellowship and community and serving each other selflessly, not selfishly, selfless service. And I think Krishna is very linked into that as well. So it says here for Krishna, so it reminds you, the starseed, that when we connect to our higher mind with clarity of intent and purpose, we move forward in the light of divine guidance. Our personal Krishna harnesses the forces that pull at the reins of our life, darkness and light, and moves the chariot forward. Words associated with the chariot are focused intent, determination, goal orientation, achievement, ambition, and victory. It says, go forward now and harness your desire. With the higher consciousness, you can always access. That's exactly what I was just saying. Wasn't it? In terms of this action forward, this motivating energy, there's an opportunity for it to be motivating us to be the highest version of ourselves, really doing it. Do it or go home is sort of the energy, It's now or never. This is when you display higher consciousness. And not in terms of, oh, I've read this book, I've done this, I've been there, I've got this. No, it's about embodiment. It's about being it, and others seeing that you're being it. But not forcing it, just being it. But yeah, Krishna. The Krishna card from this deck, I think it's a Carl Gray deck, it says devotion. I have channeled Krishna before. And maybe I will try to now. I seem to remember last time there was what's that stone? Shiva stone. I don't have that on hand, but anyway, it's fine. So the Krishna energy at this time. I think there's about to be noise in our road, but maybe that's fine. The bins are about to be collected. But he's taking me to India, where there is constant noise. I've not been, but he's just saying, constant noise in the cities anyway, and constant movement and constant distraction. But in that, there is the sanctuary also for those that wish to go deeper. He's talking about the inward journey, the journey inward. And it doesn't matter about the external noise. The external noise will always be there. The external noise gets used as an excuse to not go inward, to wait for a perfect moment, a perfect setting, a perfect opportunity. The best moment is now. To just spiral inward into the essence of who you are. To remember the signature of who you are. to reacquaint yourself with the soul light that you are. To remember the connection that you have to all. He's showing me just this droplet. But it's interesting that this droplet, which is shaped like a droplet of water, actually looks like the womb in a woman. Or if not the womb in a woman, it feels like the amniotic sac that the baby is in. As the baby drops down into earthly existence, the sac, by nature, usually would have burst before the baby arrives. But he's shown me this baby that is born still in the sac of water. But the weight of the baby, of course, is making the sac around it like this teardrop shape. And what does that baby represent? Eternal light, eternal beauty, eternal grace, the moment of stillness and anticipation before the first cry, the arrival of more light, the cycle of life, God's presence that arrives every day, every moment, every hour, with the signature of both new life and also at the opposite end of the spectrum, the passing into the next existence. He's just shown me this beautiful loop connecting both birth and death. And it looks like a figure of 8, an infinity sign, but it looks like an umbilical cord, and it's golden. And it's the presence of holiness at both ends of life, the beginning and the ending, but that holiness and sacredness and grace and stillness and respect and silence and depth and wisdom and awareness and holiness should be with us through every single day, every stage of our life. Thank you, Krishna. Yes. Beautiful. So, many guides stepping forward, and my eyes are watering since I brought him in. Perfect here. That's really beautiful. Just want to have a moment, guys, before I move on. Something in that. We're in this society of 24/7, give it to me quick. What's the next thing you're about to say? What's the next video? What's the next thing to do? No, just pause, he's saying. Just receive. Be present. Allow. Witness the moment. He's talking about the baton exchange of each breath. The breath in and the breath out, the rising chest and the chest deflated. returning to the breath. Thank you. So, yes, his presence very much here. And again, we will return to that. So thank you, Krishna. But I will just say that this whole thing about going inward and connecting to higher self, there is a spray that we sell. It's interesting that it was beside the Rose Inner Child spray. And I think that's a nod to, I'm just noticing that, it's a nod to the fact that as children, you know, as that baby coming in, we're so close to God. If God isn't the word that you like, creator, universe, whatever you want to call it, him, her, and the same with death, you know. So it's retaining that childlike energy of connection. Anyway, higher self, I will just say that for those of you that are new to my work, we hand make aura sprays. They contain essential oils, crystal essences, and the job of them is not to do it for you. They are tools that help you to connect. For this one, to connect into your higher self. So if you feel that you need a bit of support with getting to know who you are, your higher self, as well as, you know, your higher self reminding you of these higher principles, you know, what are your higher principles? What are the ethics that make you you? You know, what's the most important thing to you? For me, if you ask me, you know, I grew up with particular Christian faith, although I'm open to, you know, all faiths now and many different belief systems. But when it all boils down to it, it's do as you would be done to is my thing. I've always tried to embody that. Sometimes I failed, but, you know, I always will come back to that. Do as you would be done to. I think for me would be one of the ideals, you know, one of the ethics I have in my life. But yeah, it'll be different for all of us. So yeah, higher self spray there. Just wanted to mention that. What else have we got to do? So we've pulled some cards for solar eclipse. Have I pulled cards for new moon in Aquarius? No, I was about to do that, wasn't I, with this deck? Okay, this is the Starseed Tarot. I think it's out of print now. A few of you often say to me, where can we get it? I've no idea. It's out of print, I think. But anyway, it's a good deck. Let's go to the new moon in Aquarius. How are we feeling about that one? How are we feeling about that one? Well, I welcome it because I've got a moon in Aquarius. So to me, it's like, yeah, bring it on. I'm ready. But maybe you're not feeling quite as excited. I don't know. Because the whole thing with Aquarius is like, yeah, where is the lift going? Where are you about to land? You know, where is this new territory? Who is this new person looking at me in the mirror? You know, that, you know, because hopefully it's the old you has been, you know, the snake has done its job, the wood snake. There's a new you in town. You might not know who that person is yet. You don't, but you're going to get to know them. Anyway, new moon in Aquarius. Okay, well, how many have come out? 2. Okay, that's all right. The one on the top of the deck is the 7 of Flames, and then we've got the 10 of Orbs. Orbs. What are orbs in this deck? I just need to double check that because I can't remember. The orbs are swords. Right. Interesting. Something has ended. 10 of Orbs. But I love the fact. It's a bit very Krishna. You know, something has ended. But how beautiful is that ending? Look at that. All those pearls of wisdom. What have you learnt from the last cycle? 10 of Orbs. I just think that's a beautiful card. Shows somebody face down on a bed. You might not be able to see it in the picture, but he's face down on the bed, wearing a white robe, looking a little bit in despair, or maybe just asleep. But there's real cleansing and purity happening in that 10 of Swords moment. You know, normally in other decks, the 10 of Swords is quite a graphic card. It's literally somebody and he's got these swords in his back and he's defeated. I think in the Cathar, no, not the Cathar deck, the Knights Templar deck I've got, he's being dragged by a horse. You know, it's really graphic and horrible and gory. Look how peaceful that ending is. Look how peaceful that ending is. Look at all that angelic help that's arriving for that person who doesn't understand the new beginning, doesn't understand the new chapter, probably doesn't want to face it. He's lying face down in his bed. He doesn't want to face it. But all of that support that's coming in. And then the next card we've got is the Seven of Flames. And this shows a woman dancing, protecting that which she has achieved. I feel as though I'd like to read you what it says about the Seven of Flames, actually. Right, opening it on that page, so it must be important. Seven of Flames. As we follow the story unfolding, we see the progression from one number to the next. So this follows the Six of Flames, which was about leadership and dominance having been blurred dangerously enough to question the intention of the seeker. 6 flaming torches stand ready to do battle with our central figure, who stands ready to do battle with our central figure, who stands on a ledge above them just out of reach. She appears to realise how her sense of self-importance has created ill will in her peers, and recognising that has found the posture of grace once again. The light appears from the clouds behind her. As she weathers the storm of her previous creation, she regains her stature, yet she remains in a defensive position. She now realises what she has evoked in the others and how she has fueled their reactions. I know what this is. Once she descends from her pedestal, she will surely have a clearer picture of how to share her passion and vision for all to celebrate. It will require ego-less service, compassion, and pure vision to stoke the passion that burns in the heart of others. This is to do with the fact that you've reached a position. This is new moon in Aquarius. This is new ideals, new beliefs, new ideology, new ways of looking at the world, new you. Others looking at that and wanting to tear it down to pieces because they don't want to follow suit. They don't want to change. So why the hell should you? Triggering people big time because of your advancement, because you have said goodbye with grace to something, the old you, and you're ready to launch something new. Yeah, this is a card where this person is having to defend her position from I'm hearing evil eyes, negative energy, poison darts. Just put on your armour of God, your spiritual protection. Let's put it down this way. All these new energies arriving challenge people who want to stay stuck, who want to stay with the old, who do not want to evolve, who do not want to look at their stuff. Why do you think I was shown that dream about the 2 houses? And why do you think I had that energy of holy rage, which was like frustration? It's like, for God's sake, just get on with it and do it. And yes, I have compassion for people with wounds. Of course I do. But how many thousands of years more do we need to get it, I know many of you often on my videos are talking about the monks that have been walking peacefully through America, and it's brilliant. I haven't been watching it, but brilliant that they have been doing that. And a lot of comments have been saying, that maybe this is the moment that changes everything. Well, maybe, and not dismissing what they have done in any way at all, because I think it's absolutely amazing. But whether it's Christianity with regards to the New Testament, for example, whether it's Hindu scriptures, whatever it is, all the help that we've had for thousands of years in terms of how to just stay heart-centered, you look out there and you see people still aren't getting it. They still can't love their neighbour. They still can't stop judging. They still can't stop hating. They still can't stop wanting vengeance and all the stuff that, for example, Jesus, Krishna talked about, people are still struggling with. So when you are aspiring to higher ideals and you're at least trying, others will try to tear you down. Now, I didn't know if I was going to include this, but I think I will include it, because this, where is the card? This depiction of Krishna on the chariot I think I put it back into the deck, but anyway, I showed it to you earlier. Krishna driving the chariot is from the, excuse my pronunciation, the Bhagavad Gita. Is that right? Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is a 700-verse Hindu scripture offering profound guidance on duty, action, and spiritual wisdom. It's a sacred text in Hinduism, presented as a dialogue between Prince Arjuna and Lord Krishna, who serves as the charioteer and divine guide. And the conversation takes place on a battlefield just before a great war, symbolising the moral and philosophical struggles of human life. And I just printed a page out because I don't really know anything about it, I have to be honest. But what struck me is that somebody has broken down here the key themes within the Bhagavad Gita. And you know, I always believe that ultimately, whatever our faith system is, there is really only one God, higher consciousness. It's just there's all these different paths to it, and all should be respected. But in this, as I say, sacred text in Hinduism, the key themes are duty and righteousness, karma, action and consequence, devotion and surrendering ego, knowledge and wisdom, union and discipline. I think I'll try and weave this into work I will be resurrecting with regards to King Arthur, Knight's Code, because again, these are just, they're like, it's moral codes. So yes, wonderful that the monks are showing and embodying something that is higher consciousness, and hopefully some of the people watching them passing by have picked up on that. But I'm really just trying to make the point that we've had a lot of this wisdom, it's just we're not choosing to embody it. So whether it's a monk that inspires you, whether it is picking up a book or a piece of holy scripture that inspires you, whether it is somebody in your life that inspires you, whether it's you that inspires you, you know, and by that Metatron is saying also your mistakes that inspire you. You know, from that I would include where we know we've fallen short of what we wish to be. But that is learning in itself, is it not? So just keep carrying on, but realise there's going to be defensiveness from others. But yeah, she's adopting a position of grace, even though she or he is being attacked. Let's have one more card. Okay, I'll take that one actually, because on the bottom of the deck, that's perfect. We've got the energy of transition. Wow, what a beautiful card that is. Can you see it? So it's a card of transition. I mean, you could interpret that it's literally, you know, like a death portal. But to me, that is the old self walking away. Well, there's a couple of things coming to me. Number one, the old self walking away. It's never too late to catch up with the lessons that the wood snake gave us last year. Okay, that the skin needs to be shedded, and it will be. There's a new you that wants to come in. So that's the first thing. But the other thing this card is saying to me is that in dream state, there's a lot happening in the astral. You're traveling. I mean, I've noticed it, traveling more in astral. That's why my dreams are different, because, you know, I don't know what version of me was in that lift, but I was accessing something that I'm not normally seeing. So brilliant, you know, bring it on. So there's a bit of that. It's also future self. There's a future version of you that is traveling. And why is your future self traveling? They're traveling to bring something back that you need right now. And it can be future, and it can also be past. You see, one thing that Metatron's always said to me is that with regards to something like past life healing, yeah, you can do it. But it shouldn't be an ego trip, you know, in terms of, I was Queen Cleopatra in a past life, you know, and all of that. No, it's to do with you go back to find a quality, a frequency, a piece of wisdom, something that you need now in 2026, you know, and you bring that back. Or it's something from your past that still needs healing. You bring it back to now to be healed. But it's not about the ego, you know, just having a look and a play in terms of, oh, wasn't it grand that I was this or that? So that's what I feel with this card. It's as though there are different aspects of you traveling into all sorts of different dimensions at the moment and different timelines. Now, the only thing I'd say about that is make sure you're protected. We put protection on ourselves during the day, but you need to be protecting yourself at night as well. Well, some people do. You know, it's a bit like, it depends where you are on your journey. If you're embodying the energy of I am safe, you don't need a lot of the protocols, but it depends where you are, you know, so just do what feels right for you. Because really what I'm coming from is your higher self, hopefully, is wise enough to know where not to go, where, you know, it's not a good idea to travel into that particular dimension or that particular timeline, because you know it doesn't end very well, or you know you're going to pick something up that is destructive or negative and bring it back to the present day. So maybe this is just about opening up, sort of like a Time Lord type energy for those of us that are at a vibrational level to be able to do something with it, you know, acknowledge it. Nice. Okay, I think I will end this video with regards to a shamanic energy, because I don't know whether you can see this sort of altar that I've put here, which was all to do with these three events: solar eclipse, new moon, and fire horse. I am going to come back and talk about fire horse more another time, but it's got quite a shamanic-y feel. It's got the oranges and browns and deep greens, and I've also got this beautiful Eastern energy. I don't know if you can see, I've got my lovely wooden Buddha here as well, and include the Buddha energy with this wave from the East, the Hindu energy, the Sikh energy. There's just a lot firing up with regards to Eastern energies. But yeah, also the shamanic. So I wanted to pull a card from this deck. This is the Aboriginal Healing Oracle. Yeah, Aboriginal Healing Oracle. So we're going to weave that in. Before I do that, just to show you a couple of crystals. Kundalini quartz. I often show you Kundalini quartz, but it is a spot on right now. It's really helping to direct the energy in a fluid, strong way. I'm being shown a river, but it's not a river that's got loads of different tributaries. It's just a river that knows the direct route to the sea being oneness and connection to higher self. The other crystal I've got, and I showed this on Facebook the other day, is Ussingite. And I was intrigued why Ussingite was calling me. It's got like a sort of greeny, waxy, greeny, cream colour. But what's interesting about this is, number one, if you expose it to ultraviolet light, it turns violet in colour. So it's a nod to the violet ray and unity. Back to what I was talking about with Antarctica, a unified management of Mother Earth that has her best interests at heart, but also the unity path. You know, I am so beyond the whole left and right thing now. I really am. I can't even read it, really. I'm just not interested. So, you know, those of us that have really been trying to follow a more violet way, I think the path is going to be swept for us and is easier to follow now. Again, I'll do another video on that another day. But again, with this crystal, again, I thought it was very interesting. Metatron was saying, you talk about this, show it, include it in the overall energy. It comes mainly from Greenland. And I really feel the whole situation with Greenland has died down, but it's going to come back up again in terms of ownership and resources. Let's hope not fighting over it, but definitely that story is not over. Okay, so Greenland going to be more in the news again soon. Just talking about in the news again, the other thing I'm picking up, I will do a video on the royals soon, the passing of the kingship to William is coming soon. I wouldn't be, something might even happen during this eclipse portals, but certainly this year there's something coming there. So again, we'll talk about that another time. Right, Let's end with a shamanic energy then to ground all of this in. It could be an animal that steps forward. Of course, we've got the fire horse, but let's see what else wants to come forward from this Aboriginal healing oracle. Last message, tying everything together, please. Thank you. We have the pelican, security. Security. I like that. We've also got Blackwood, flexibility, on the bottom of the deck. So, yes, I love those two messages because, number one, we are being told you are safe. You are safe through all these changes. I'll read the message that goes with the card in a minute. But then we've also got the card of flexibility. The need to be flexible, the need to be adaptable is important too. Right, let's see what the pelican has to say with his wisdom. It's card number 20. 20 in colour numerology is the colour of awakening, actually. Heaven to earth type energy. So it says the pelican is a very social bird who possesses a strong sense of family. They are committed to their relationships and enter into partnerships for life. Outside of their families, they are more vulnerable and do not thrive well in solitary life. Therefore, they seek the security of partnerships at an early age. Pelican can live in large colonies where together they work to ensure all family members are cared for. They intuitively understand the significance of relationships to their survival. While they are known to inhabit coastal areas, they are adaptable and can be found anywhere there is a source of water. Pelican will move to more appropriate surroundings rather than stay somewhere where their family will not thrive. It also talks about recognizing the strengths of people you are not related to by birth. They can include friends, neighbours and work colleagues. Look beyond your family for support. So this is about the family of man, is what I'm hearing. The family of man, that we are all one family. We are all going through this transition and change right now. And like any family, it gets on better when we're kind to each other, considerate to each other, have each other's interests at heart, aren't trying to attack each other, bring each other down. We are all one family, is what I'm hearing. Card number 2 is Blackwood, flexibility. Let me just see what Blackwood is all about. Blackwood medicine encourages flexibility in thinking, to clearly understand those with different points of view. This is very violet pill, isn't it? Being open to others' beliefs is an admirable trait, as it demonstrates your ability to acknowledge the importance of allowing others to share their stories with you. To understand the stories of others is a humbling and beautiful trait to possess. When people are drawn to those who they believe understand them, they will open their heart and share their stories, knowing the listener is sharing their journey. However, this understanding also can become a double-edged sword. The challenge is when the listener becomes part of the story and also embarks on the journey. Sometimes too many journeys can take their toll. So this is almost listening to others' opinions, but not having to be swayed by them, not having to be converted by them. It's very violet pill. It's the energy of come sit beside me. You have a difference of opinion. We are not going to agree, but I'm willing to listen to you if you're also willing to listen to me. It's that type of energy. It's the unified path. So that is it for today. Take great care. I've referenced a number of other videos that I plan to do soon. So I think I will leave this one there. I think it's enough for one video. I wish you a smooth transition time. But remember to try to stay aligned to your highest version of self. Higher self spray, good help there. Crystals that can also come in to support you, of course. Mother Earth that can come in to support you. The other crystal actually that I've got on my little table here is the Eclipse stone itself. I've also got this one, which is oh God, I forgot what it's called now. It's Moonstone, but it's dark Moonstone. I think they're quite helpful as well at this time. Black Moonstone, not dark Moonstone, Black Moonstone and Eclipse Stone. Mestron's just saying, look up the meaning of Black Moonstone. Okay, hold on a minute, guys. Black Moonstone meaning. It's a potent crystal for inner growth, grounding and protection, primarily associated with new beginnings, intuition, helps soothe stress, focuses emotional balance during transitions, and encourages creative visualization. It's known as the warrior stone. It's also used for emotional, mental and physical support. Well, in a way, that one crystal almost sums up the whole reading, does it not? Okay, so just do what you need to do to help support yourself at this time. But remember, any signs that you can give the universe that I am changing because I'm changing something in my routine or my life or my mindset is going to encourage a growth mindset that will help you evolve more than just staying stuck in terms of this is how I am, this is what I do, this is what I think, this is what I believe. So let's try to remain flexible and adaptable. Lots of love, everybody. Take great care. I'll be back very soon. Please like the video if you have liked it. Hype the video if you want to do that as well. Just gets it out to more people. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye for now. Bye.